to Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today's episode is a special one. On this day, September 11th, 2001, one of the worst domestic terrorist attacks occurred in our great nation, killing 2,977 Americans. The 19 hijackers who also died, well, they can rot in hell. Not only did all those innocent civilians die that day, many of the most brave first responders died some years later due to complications such as COPD, mesothelioma, cancer, because of their heroic actions going into the debris and rubble. There's a lot of controversy regarding the following actions of this day, and that's not what this video is about at all. This video is a tribute to all those innocent people who not only died that day but were witnesses to the tragedy and suffered mental and emotional trauma due to witnessing this event. My thought process is, what if you were walking along the streets of New York City that day and maybe you wanted to buy a comic book? Maybe these are some of the comic shops you would have passed by and gone by that day in 2001. And maybe, just maybe, you picked up this Superman comic, which was released in September 1st of 2001. So this comic would have been on the shelves during this horrific event. The comic I'm going to review could have been read by someone on the street or in the process of being bought when the tragedy occurred. So, in remembrance of those who lived and died September 11, 2001, let's check out this Superman comic that maybe some of these people could have picked up that day or were reading that day. I'm not rating this cover, but what I will point out regarding this cover and some of the terminology that is interesting in the title at the top, quote unquote, "Our world's at war," end quote, and to the right, quote, "All out war," end quote, and then "First strike." Wow, interesting, right? This issue comes out September 1st. Is this issue predicting the future? That America would be at war soon? These are all very poignant military type terms that would eventually happen soon after September 11th. Also, the image of small town Smallville burning, similar to what happened on September 11th, buildings burning. This issue was written by Jeff Loeb, drawn by Ed McGuinness, and I will say I enjoy the silhouette of Superman flying and saving the young boy in his arms. I like the visuals here. We see, from Superman's perspective, bodies on the ground, and I like the raindrop art style. The colors are appropriate and vibrant. It is interesting the start of this story recounts military battles in which many men lost their lives. This is why I chose this book to cover. This book came out 10 days prior to the attacks of September 11th, but the parallels are so eerie. It's almost forecasting the events and what will happen afterwards. Did Jeff Loeb time travel and try to warn us with this book, but no one took notice? Just kidding. Don't start a conspiracy, okay? Wow, what a cool splash page. I know Superman is looking over the burned out ruins of a destroyed Topeka, Kansas, but those reading this book on September 1st would have deja vu, seeing nearly the same imagery but in real life New York City. The book says the people that fought in the Civil War encountered considerable psychological effects due to the war, similar to the aftershock many Americans experienced this day 23 years ago. I always wanted and wished artists to try to do a better job at depicting the awesomeness of the flight and speed of Superman. This page does the job perfectly, in my opinion, especially the middle frame. I like that static effect they have around Superman. He is traveling so fast, the molecules around him are distorted. It is one of, if not the best techniques I've seen to show the awesomeness of Superman in flight. Superman rucks up to Imperiex, this huge enemy. This guy looks knocked out. Superman, with all his super senses, can't detect a heartbeat. But Superman's further inspection must wait. He hears a civilian call for help. He must answer the call. Imperiex can suck it. But wait, old boy's eyes look like they're coming too. But Superman is already off to do superhero saving duty. Superman saves the boy, hooray! But the boy can't find his parents. So there's that. I like the art style. It is bold and colorful, and unique to this era of time, the early 2000s, right? Superman is overly bulky. All the proportions are wrong, especially in the boy. They're off. Big, big eyes, like anime eyes, right? But almost cartoony. But that was cool during this time period, this art style. I don't mind it. It kind of, gives me some nostalgia. Tell me what you think of it down in the comments below. Again, with the foreshadowing of events, military personnel, roads are blocked, we see a medical soldier now attending to the boy. It's chaos, similar to the chaos of September 11th. The soldier even uses the term, quote, ground zero, end quote. I have never heard of that term until the attacks of September 11th. I'm telling you, Jeff Loeb is a time traveler. We just never deciphered his clues in time. Just kidding. As Superman saves a building from collapsing, he gasps at what he knows what is to come. An epic battle. Imperiex is climbing out of his apparent grave in the ground, ready to battle with Superman, which would probably cause more damage and destruction to the area. Superman can't have that. A massive heat vision attack to try and keep Imperiex on the ground. I love this art. It's big, it's detailed, it's colorful, it's fun. All the things a comic book should be. Superman's enemies need to be huge and powerful, and this one does the job well. He is hulking, menacing, and his costume / armor is quite cool too. I love the fighting angles, and what is that spinning attack at the bottom? I've never seen Superman do that before. Very cool. Superman, not knowing for trying to kill his opponents, well, he's looking to finish this one off permanently. That's a big deal for the Man of Steel. But Imperiex strikes back. I'm not at all familiar with this character, but the way he speaks, he reminds me of Galactus. He's looking to destroy our galaxy, just like Galactus eats planets, and he claims in all of time that he's never been beaten. So this character Imperiex must be super ancient as well. Can Superman withstand such a powerful attack from such a powerful ancient being? Superman don't care about the past adventures of Imperiex. This a-hole attacked our planet, so now it's go time! Superman lets loose on Imperiex. Power punch, heat vision, ice breath, everything! Speed, speed, speed! Superman is everywhere, attacking Imperiex from every angle. Punches, heat vision, ice breath. He's throwing the kitchen sink at this enemy of Earth and our galaxy. Superman has cracked the armor. Uh-oh. In a huge explosion, it looks like both hero and villain are nowhere to be seen. A huge crater in the Earth is the result of the battle. A lone soldier calls out for Superman. Out of literally nowhere, Supergirl shows up and starts asking questions. Typical. Superman emerges from the depths of the crater, his cape and costume tattered beyond repair. He doesn't know if it's day or night. The explosion messed him up real good. Just like on September 11th. Those explosions messed up our country real bad. Superman flies back home to the Kent farm. It is in ruin. He is picking up the pieces of his family's belongings, the shards and remnants of his past, just like America had to pick up the pieces and rubble of those destroyed Twin Towers. Sure, it is Superman in the midst of the rubble, disheartened, but that could be any police officer or fireman on September 11th, in the midst of the carnage those attacks caused on our soil. Like all Americans this day 23 years ago, we were met with shock and awe, and then let out a roar of anger. How could this have happened? And then the sadness. Who is to console Superman but Supergirl? But who is to console all of America, the brave and the proud? I was 20 years old that day. I remember the events clear as day, and I can tell you that I felt like I was kicked in the nuts so hard I had fell to my knees. And this is what everyone felt like. This is what America felt like, a kick to America's nuts and gut. We couldn't have felt worse as a nation. I can't remember ever feeling like that before or after that day. Wow, Superman yelled so loud it caused Supergirl to temporarily lose her hearing. Impressive shout. I feel like how America shouted that day. A shout so loud the entire world heard it. Superman says that he has all this power, but he couldn't save them, meaning his family, I guess. This is what Americans said on September 11th. How could this attack happen? America is the best. It is the toughest and most awesome country on earth. How could we With all our military might and intel and power, let this attack happen to us on our soil. The image of the tattered Superman with his head down, tears in his eyes, well, that is America 10 days from the release of this book. Again, Jeff Loeb, time traveler. Superman's parents were always looking out. An extra emergency cape and costume. A call for help comes in from the Justice League. Superman changes in a flash and is off to save the day again. Respond to the call for help. Just like America does. Even when we're kicked and busted and bruised, America will always be there to fight for right, truth, justice, and the American way.